squad YouTube? Welcome back to another video. We are doing the Dynamax Gigantamax Machamp Raid Day. This has been the best day yet. Hope y'all enjoy. Good morning and God bless. Hope y'all are doing well. We played the Machamp Dynamax Gigantamax Community Raid. I don't know what to call it. Gigantamax Raid Day, whatever it was. It was one of my best days ever. You guys saw the intro. It was absolutely insane. I recorded that in the car because I actually did some raids while I was in the car. So basically what happened was I joined, which one of the viewers, shout out to you, Chris. He's probably going to be in the comments below. He was able to invite me to some raids. So this one is raid number 1. Now, little did I realize with the very first raid is that this Pokemon is really difficult to take down. When I mean difficult, I mean like I was struggling so bad. To be honest, I probably should have powered up my Pokemon. Not even probably. I definitely should have powered up my Pokemon. That's something I realized into this first raid. To where I pretty much died. Like, it was pretty quickly how bad my Pokemon were. Now, I think this is like a genuine advice to you guys is, well, you have to power up your Pokemon before these raid days. Because if not, you're going to be one of those people kind of dragging people under the bus. So try your best to power up the best Pokemon. So for me personally, I noticed that after my Gengars died, after my Excadrills died, that Metagrosses were the best. Now technically, they were the best, but I still died a lot. Because one thing I realized as well is that Machamp is a really hard Pokemon to take out. I don't know what it is, but it is a really hard Pokemon to take out. And not only that, but it was more so that it hit really, really hard. And if you know Dynamax raids, you can't really dodge the attack. Like, when you do a normal raid, you get attacked by a Pokemon, and it's pretty easy to dodge it. You just swipe. But when it comes to a Dynamax's, you only have 3 spaces to move. And for some reason, even if you dodge it to your best of your ability, it'll only do like 10% lower, maybe. It really hits you really, really hard every single time. So that's something I realized for sure. But one thing I want to add on top of that is that it seems like these Gigantamax raid days have a higher shiny rate compared to the normal Dynamax raids. I have done, honestly, almost 100 Dynamax raids, normal Dynamaxes, and I've not gotten a single shiny. And I've gotten 3 100% IVs before getting a shiny, which is crazy. But to add on top of this, why I was able to do this raid day was because Pokemon Go recently added this update to where you could do remote raids. Now, this is awesome. The one problem I ran into was the fact that I needed the max particles, but luckily, since there's so many max particle spawns everywhere, I was just able to collect one, then I joined a raid. So when you do a remote Gigantamax raid, it costs 800 max particles and 1 remote raid. So it makes sense, I think, personally. Hopefully one of these days, I keep saying this, hopefully Scopely watches some of the Pokemon Go YouTubers making these videos. Hopefully eventually that they make the remote raids cheaper. I think that'd just make it absolutely awesome if they did so. And after the first raid, after doing all the attacks, after realizing kind of a strategy of needing more Pokemon, we were finally able to get our first shiny Machamp. Now this is super cool because not only is this my first ever shiny Gigantamax Pokemon, this is also a Pokédex entry and a YouTube short. There was so much going on in my mind that, oh my goodness, my hair. Anyways, there was so much going around, like going in my mind when I got this shiny, because I've never caught a shiny Dynamax. This was my first ever time ever, so this is absolutely awesome being able to get it for the first time. But it also showed me a lot. For one, there was over 20 plus people in the Dynamax raid, and that's something I recommend if possible. Try and get people on your friends list to try and do these raids, because more than not, if you invite 3 or 4 people, you're probably not going to take it out. In comparison to if you have a large group of people, you're way, way more likely. So this was our first shiny, and I'm really happy to say so. But this next raid was even better. Now here we go with our second raid. Now, this was from the same invite. We were able to get a bunch of people in the Gigantamax raid. By the way, for the editing on the last clip, my editing software is broken. I don't know how CapCut broke, but it did, and it did like funny zooms. So it's an editing thing. I don't know what happened. So if you saw some funny zoom ins like this, I had nothing to do with it. But going back to this, we got the Gigantamax Champ. Now the cool thing about this, and I didn't realize this until I traded to one of my friends, that the Gigantamax Machamp has a special ability, and it was Payback, which Payback is a Dark-type move, and this is the only Dark-type move that we have in the game as of yet that's actually good. Now, this is beneficial because this means we're going to get Psychic-type Pokemon soon. Because the best counter for Psychic is, well, Ghost, but Dark-type is the main thing. So maybe that means we get Gigantamax Mewtwo soon, or anything else that's a Psychic type, which I can't really think on the top of my head on what's a Psychic type, but there's some out there. So, and this has been a very, very, very common theme. Every single time we get a new release, Dynamax, Gigantamax, there's always the counters that we can get a couple days before. So, I like that they do this, but I accidentally took off the Gigantamax attack on the one I traded, so sorry if you're watching. But I gave it to one of my friends. But it's a Gigantamax is still pretty good, I think. But I still have two of the shiny ones. Well, I low-key just spoiled it for you, so I blurred it. But we have the second raid. Now, the thing with the second raid was I tried using different Pokemon. And even with using different Pokemon, I'm gonna keep it a buck, it was still difficult. Like, it was weirdly difficult. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but this Pokemon was insanely difficult. It kind of made me think, like, should I use the Max Mushroom? Max Mushrooms are in the shop. They're pretty expensive Pokecoins wise, and basically what they do is they help boost your attacks when it comes to the Gigantamax or Dynamax raid. I used it with getting Beldum, it worked out pretty good, but I didn't have Pokecoins. I spent, I think, $5, and I was able to get some remote raids because I thought this would be the time to use remote raids on Gigantamaxes, because Gigantamaxes only come around for sometimes only that certain day. So I'd rather do that, use the remote raids, spend the $5 now, compared to what I thought about doing, which was getting the Azelf, Uxie, or Mesprit. But if I really think about it, Mesprit, Uxie, and whatever the ones I just said, Azelf, those come back. The Gigantamaxes normally don't really come back. So that's something I realized, so I decided why not buy some remote raids, and that's what I did. I bought remote raids for the second raid. Now, the second raid, I feel like it went better, but it still wasn't, like, enough. You know what I mean? And that's something I want to throw out there. Like, it's not easy to do these. So that's why when I threw in the tip before to make sure that you have a ability to have a lot of people, just make sure you get a lot of people because you're going to need them. So after this raid, I really realized that the shiny rates are definitely better. And my CP was better. Basically meaning I got a better shiny. How crazy is that? On my second raid, I'd only done 2 Gigantamax raids ever when it comes to these two. Or actually just ever. I've only done 2, and I got both those shinies. I was absolutely flabbergasted, jaw dropped, everything. I could not believe I got a second one. It was a better IV2, and I'm keeping both of them. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I mean, unless someone wants them in the future, but I think that's so dope. I was able to get 2 shiny Gigantamax Pokemon. It was so awesome. Let me know in the comments below, how does your Gigantamax raid day go? I know this video is a bit chopped. I don't know where my other phone is, so I had to record it on one phone. God bless. Jesus loves y'all. Have a fantastic day. I appreciate y'all so much for showing up.